Good afternoon, everyone. I am Trixie Guerrero, and today I will be discussing about understanding the ins and out of toxic exposure. So before I dive in, I will discuss first what is toxic exposure. So toxic exposures happen when harmful substances enter our body and affect our health. These harmful substances are called toxins. We may not always see or smell them, but toxins can be found in our everyday environment. So the air we breathe, the water we drink, the food we eat, and the soil or surfaces we touch. So understanding toxic exposure helps us protect ourselves and make safer choices. So now let us proceed with the first one. Understanding toxic exposure. So the first one is the air we breathe. So we all have sources of toxic exposure. Number one is the air we breathe. So the air around us may contain harmful substances such as smoke from vehicles and factories, cigarette smoke, dust and chemicals, and burning trash or plastic. So what are the possible effects of these? Their possible effects are the following: difficulty breathing, asthma, and many others. Number two is the water we drink. So the easily affected people having a toxic exposure is mostly children, pregnant women, elderly people, or the weakest in the basta katong mga weak or naanay mga diseases. So bisag healthy person, bisag healthy ka nga person, pwede ka affected aning toxic. The first thing na makaprevent nato para dili ta ma-expose o maayo sa toxic is to drink clean water, to eat healthy foods nga kanang kabalutag asa jud gagikan. So the next one is bioaccumulation. Bioaccumulation or the build-up of toxins in the body. So bioaccumulation happens when toxins slowly build up in an organism over time. So some toxins are fat-soluble. Examples of fat-soluble toxins are DDT and mercury. So bioaccumulation happens when harmful substances called toxins slowly build up inside a living organism over time. So these toxins can come from polluted water, food, air, or the environment. Some toxins do not easily leave the body, especially those that are fat-soluble, meaning they are stored in the body and instead of being removed. So bioaccumulation is a process where a toxin enters an organism faster than the body can remove or can break them down. So as a result, the amount of toxins in the body can increase over time. So when you say some toxins are fat soluble, it means that the toxin stays in fat tissue and toxins is hard to break down. So some examples of fat soluble toxins are DDT and mercury. So DDT is a pesticide once widely used to kill insects, and even though it is banned in many countries, it still remains in the environment. DDT builds up in fat tissues of animals and humans. And possible effects is hormonal problems and damage to the nervous system. Next one is the mercury. So mercury is a toxic metal found in polluted water. Fish absorb mercury from water and food. So when humans eat contaminated fish, mercury enters the body. So the next one is biomagnification or the increase of toxins in food chain. So biomagnification is the process where toxin level increase as they move up the food chain. So this means that the organisms in the higher level of food chains receive the high level of toxins even if it is present in the small amount. So examples of biomagnifications are DDT and mercury become more concentrated in fish. And birds like ospreys and humans who eat large fish receive the highest doses. So mercury in fish is mercury in water is absorbed by plankton. Small fish eat plankton, Big fish eat many small fish, and humans eat big fish and get high mercury levels. And DDT in animals is DDT enters soil or water. Insects absorbs DDT, birds eat insects, and birds of prey accumulate dangerous levels of DDT. So why is biomagnification dangerous? So top predators receive toxic levels, causes health problems in humans, harm wildlife and ecosystems, and effects may be long-term and irreversible. So next one is the mercury case study. Mercury enters water systems mainly from industrial pollution. Mercury changes into methyl mercury, which is highly toxic, and fish absorbs mercury. Large fish accumulate more of it, and humans can be poisoned by eating too much contaminated fish. So when you say mercury, it is a heavy metal that occurs naturally in small amounts, but large amounts come from factories and industrial waste, mining activities, and burning coal and improper waste disposal. So mercury is dangerous because it does not easily break down and can stay in the environment for a long time. So ano nga maka-enter ang mercury into the water systems? So mercury from industrial waste can run off into rivers, and rain also comes with mercury from the polluted air and also run off from contaminated soil. So once mercury is in the water, it spreads easily and affect aquatic life. So number 5 is assessing the dangers of chemicals. Risk assessment. So what is risk assessment? Risk assessment is used by scientists to determine how dangerous a chemical is to humans. Way scientists measure risk is dose response studies, retrospective studies, and prospective studies. So when you say risk, it is a scientific process used to determine how dangerous a chemical is, who is at most risk, and how to reduce or prevent them. So scientists use risk assessment to protect public health and create safety rules and regulations. And when you say dose response studies, it is to examine how different amounts of doses of a chemical affect the body. So key idea is small doses may cause little or no effect, and higher doses cause more serious effects. Examples ani nila is a small amount of chemical may be safe, but large amounts can cause poisoning. Now, number 2 is retrospective studies. Retrospective studies look at past exposure to chemicals and study their effects. Examples is studying factory workers who were exposed to chemicals years ago to see if they developed health problems. Number 3 is prospective studies. Prospective studies follow people over time to see how chemical exposure affects them in the future. Examples are following a group of people living near an industrial area to monitor future health problems. Number 6 is synergistic effects. So sometimes two toxins together can cause more harm than expected. Example, smoking plus asbestos exposure, and together they greatly increase the risk of cancer. So two or more toxins enter the body at the same time. So the combined effects is greater than the sum of their individual effects. So more na siya 1 plus 1 equals 2. Ang individual effects nila kay harmful samot na if i-combine mo sila together. So how is synergistic effects work? Each toxin damages the body in different way. When combined, they weaken the body's defenses and the body becomes more vulnerable in serious diseases. So, ang example is kadara, smoking plus asbestos exposure. So, smoking weakens the lung. We all know that. Asbestos fibers causes more damage. So, cancer risk becomes much higher than either exposures alone. So, number 7 is perceiving risk. Perceiving risk is people do not always judge risk correctly. So, it is how dangerous a person believes something is. So, familiar activities like smoking or driving may seem less risky. Kaya ang smoking or driving, it is a common good done by people. So believe nila nga smoking is less harmful than any activities. And also driving, kay daghan na si drive kada adlaw. So naka-perceive na sila nga dili siya dangerous because kabalo sila mo drive and kabalo sila mo handle sa pag-drive. Now, unfamiliar activities like flying may seem more dangerous for them. Kay of course naiuban nga hadlok og airplane. But statistically speaking, flying is more safer than driving. And perceived risk is often based on fear and emotion and not fact. So number 8 is the precautionary principle. The precautionary principle says that if something might be harmful, it should be limited or avoided until proven safe. So kani dapat mag-prepare na sila if possible nga na ay chance of harm or naa na sila or mga chances nga maka-prevent sila ani nga harm. So examples are artificial turf field may contain toxic chemicals. So examples is artificial turf field may contain toxic chemicals. So what is artificial turf? Artificial turf is a man-made surface often used in sport fields, school playgrounds, and parks. It is usually made from rubber, plastic, and other synthetic materials. So why is artificial turf a concern? So some artificial turf fields may contain toxic chemicals, heavy metals, rubber particles from recycled tires. So the next example is children especially vulnerable. So kanina time children are developing their body. So and also they are mostly going out and playing on playgrounds and touching everywhere, touching surfaces that they may not know that is harmful. And also kanang dali gud sila maapektuhan because their body is weaker pa than an adult's body. So the last one is number 9, tracking infectious diseases. So not all health threats come from toxins. Some come from infectious diseases. So example of infectious diseases are those that comes from the germs like fungi, viruses, and many others. So examples is HIV, AIDS, and Ebola. So examples are HIV or human immunodeficiency virus and AIDS or acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. So AIDS is the most severe cases of HIV in humans. And next one is Ebola. So Ebola is a serious and often deadly viral disease. It causes fever, bleeding, and organ failure. So how do it spreads? It spreads directly contact with bodily fluid of infected people and contact with contaminated objects. And why is tracking important? Ebola spreads quickly during outbreaks. Early detection can save lives and helps isolate cases and protect healthcare workers. So in conclusion, health threats do not only come from toxic chemicals. It also came from infectious diseases like HIV, AIDS, Ebola, and also pose serious risks. So by tracking these diseases, scientists and health agencies can cause outbreak, protect communities, and save lives. So awareness and early actions are key to maintaining public health. So that is all about my report about understanding the ins and outs of toxic exposure. So I hope you learned something from my discussion, and that is all for today. I hope you had a great day.